Hello, it's Philip Taylor speaking from Richmond Green Chambers in London. This morning I'm looking at a serious subject and a book which is very important. I've done some cases in this area of law. They're very difficult cases at the best of times, very emotive, and they're dealing with a very substantial fundamental issue. The title of the book, Deprivation of Liberty, a Handbook, written by two experienced judges, Her Honour Nazarene Pierce and District Judge Sue Jackson. The book's been published by Jordan Publishing, which we'll have a look at in a moment. And my wife Elizabeth and I talked about this book, had a good look at it, and we've given it the title for our review, An Authoritative Work of Reference for All Professionals Involved in this Difficult and Sensitive Area of Law. This is the book. It's only a small book. It's a paperback. You see a little paperback there. There is the actual spine. And on the back you can see some details, probably not the easiest to read, but there is some detail. It's an interesting front cover as well, birds in a cage, and you can see immediately why, because of the problems. And it's a gilded cage, I hasten to add. Now the actual index, as you can see, is set out there, and the index actually has a paragraph numbering, so it's not actually page numbering you're looking at. It's not a big index at all. There's some appendices used for websites, Appendix 8 and so on. Let's go to the front of the book. It runs to 250 pages in total. There's the front there. It's available as an e-book as well. There's no detail about the e-book details actually in that part there, but obviously it's referred to at the back, so you actually go to jordanpublishing.co.uk to find the details about the ebook itself. So there's the back. Then do read the preface, because it's about the right of liberty and security of people. It sets out very clearly where we are, and no one is more aware of that, in my view, and that of certainly my wife Elizabeth, than the judiciary, because they have to make these very difficult decisions. So the two of them have produced in September 2015 what I think is a very useful preface, just trying to set out European Convention for the Protection of Human Rights and Fundamental Principles. In other words, the Human Rights Act. And in many ways we really are very aware of that, and why we must keep it enshrined in our system. Now we have Bournemouth, of course, being mentioned straight away. You've got the various chapter headings listed there. It's not a big book at all, but you can see the detail of the chapter headings and contents means you should be able to find what you're looking for very specifically, notwithstanding the specific cases that we've got, and of course the codes of practice and the statutes. There we go, there's some more. Now what we've got here at the back is there are 8 appendices. I think there's one over the page, yes. The 7 appendices are listed there, and there's one over the page, which is the websites. You can see the appendices actually has the PDs, it has the Mental Capacity Act 2005 extract, the Court of Protection rules, and a variety of other regulations, which I think are very important to list with the case law itself. There's the case law there. And then we do have a little bit of a small amount on SIs and so forth. There is, of course, a very small amount on statutes too. But the book itself is aimed, it says here, the introduction, it sets the background very clearly. It's aimed very much. A person lacks capacity in relation to a matter if he is not able to make decisions for himself in relation to a specific matter because of impairment of or disturbance in the functioning of his mind or brain. And that's the Mental Capacity Act itself. So it starts off with that, then you run through. The paragraph numbering you can see is listed there, and you do have footnotes at the bottom. If we go through, you can see again the sort of, you've got notes on practice and procedure all the way through, again very helpful. As I say, it's a difficult area of law. It's sad in many ways that it's got to a position where one has to go to court and get orders. But that's the way that life has gone. That's the book itself. And as a result, we need to know exactly where we are. And this is where the handbook comes in, because there are going to be occasions where you have to go and secure some sort of order because things are not working the way they are. they should be. And I know from my own case law and other matters that these are very difficult areas, and areas where a lot of sensitivity has to come in to the final decision making, because they are hard cases. So what do we say about the book? Apart from welcoming it, which I certainly do, as a great commentary on where we are at the moment as a handbook. It's fortunate then that in times in which we live, medical advances generally allow older people to grow older and live longer, and that's the ageing population. However, while such conditions as dementia are by no means inevitable in old age, they have unfortunately become almost a commonplace, resulting in varying degrees of mental impairment. And the number of people with dementia is rising. We have to recognise that that is a fact of life. Younger adults, as well as older people, indeed all who lack the capacity to look after themselves, are, as the authors of this handbook point out, the most vulnerable in society. And in their vulnerability, their inalienable human rights must be protected, especially in the event that deprivation of liberty issues result. And there are going to be occasions where this happens. Lawyers then in particular will certainly recognise that there are few other areas of law which generate such a large percentage of what are referred to as hard cases. Referred to that before, hard cases being ones that are really very, very difficult ones to determine because of the emotive nature of them, the fact that they are hard decisions that have to be arrived at. They're uncomfortable decisions. That's what we really mean by that. And it's a certain usage of the word hard in the legal sort of language, if you like. Practitioners faced with the task of advising on the problems which deprivation of liberty tends to generate will therefore welcome the recent publication of this handbook from Jordan Publishing. Will also provide useful guidelines, we feel, for medical practitioners and social workers dealing with these problems on a day-to-day basis. And I'd like to thank Jordan very much for doing this. We can't do our work without the sort of publications you produce for us. They're absolutely fundamental, and they're very useful for the courts as well, so thank you to all concerned for that. Setting out the latest case law and all the relevant statutory material specific to deprivation of liberty, this handbook provides authoritative guidance regarding proper procedure in court, as well as precise analysis and reference to learned opinion on virtually all aspects of deprivation of liberty, a term which in itself almost defies precise definition, a problem which is certainly tackled head-on in this book, because what do we really mean by it? The book also provides in-depth coverage of such areas as safeguards, that's DOLS itself, judicial authorisation of deprivation of liberty, urgent authorisation of restraint detention, including the issues of serious harm, and of course much more. And almost half the book, for example, is actually taken up by the 8 appendices, which I mentioned earlier, which include extracts from the relevant legislation, including the Mental Capacity Act 2005, PDs, extracts from the Court of Protection Rules 2007, and almost 40 pages of the required forms. So I think this is very much a book for advisors. Certainly anybody involved in this area as a job should be aware of the book and actually have it available so they can read it. It's easy to read. It's not a difficult book to read at all. There are also, of course, tables of cases and statutes and statutory instruments, and you will have some case law because it's from the case law that we derive really where the powers come from, apart from what Parliament's statutory intentions have been. The book's extensively footnoted with numbered paragraphs, as I've indicated, throughout, and obviously bear that in mind with the index. There is the detailed tables of contents and the index, which means you should be able to find things reasonably quickly. And then there's a section of useful websites in Appendix 8. The book, I think, is fortunate because it's designed for easy usage for the busy practitioner. Do also note the important recent developments in what is a rapidly evolving area of law. They're also covered approximately up to the middle of 2015. So let me conclude by saying that readers mindful of the formidable responsibilities placed on local authorities, on medical practitioners, on social workers and care home managers, as well as the courts, in the matter of any issue pertaining to deprivation of liberty will find this book, I think, invaluable for its help and support in the excellent and we would say essential way that these handbooks from Jordan's are published. The publication date is cited at September 2015. Here's the book again, The Gilded Cage and the Bird, with the door open on that occasion. And then you've got the back of it there, some detail, just opening it in the middle. We've actually got right in the middle some important, for instance this area here, recent developments and some decisions in a particular case in 2015. Without going into detail, you can see it's very up to date. It's trying to set out where we are at the moment with the particular case law. Urgent authorization of restrained detention. Sometimes it is urgent, you have to act very quickly. So you can see how the book is structured. Again, paragraph numbering, and of course you do have some footnoting as well. Well, thank you to Her Honour Nazreen Pierce and to District Judge Sue Jackson very much indeed for this book. It's something that anybody involved in this area must know about, and it would be something you refer to, especially if you've got, as I say, there's such a large number of hard cases in this area. I think this book is really a find and something which will be of help to all of you. So thank you to all concerned once again, and especially to Jordan's for the great support you give. Thanks awfully. Bye-bye.